Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Diane and my passion is painting and creating nature-inspired watercolours in my studio, which are easy for you to do too. I share all my paintings with you on YouTube, and on our website dianeantone.com you can find free downloadable sketches for all the videos to help you make the most of your painting journey. And if you'd like a little bit more, we also have channel memberships with loads of perks for you to enjoy. So welcome on board. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, and let's learn to paint watercolour. Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. Diane here. I hope everyone's well. And today we're going to paint a little friendly landscape using an unusual range of colours in my palette. And it's going to be whimsical, I'm afraid. If you don't like whimsy, move on pass down the compartment. No, seriously. What was I saying? Yes, it's going to be whimsical, and I hope you like it. So I'm going to be painting on this piece of paper here. This is a sample that came from Hahnemuhle in Germany. This is bamboo paper. It's made from bamboo. On the back it tells you 90% bamboo fibre and 10% cotton rag. And I can't speak to the ecological soundness of this, but I do know that if there's a country in the world that is well ahead of the game in terms of trying to save the planet, it has to be Germany. I have worked on this before and I know it's nice paper. They have a whole range of different papers, some of which are slightly strange. This one is called, now I actually don't know how to pronounce that properly. It makes me think it's a Spanish word like agave, but agave, I think a lot of people say in England. But anyway, that is made of agave pulp mixed with sisal and cotton. Haven't used that yet, but I will and try that out. And then they have a lovely range of different papers in their watercolour range, which is their standard. And this is a nice rough paper, which we don't usually use, but I'll try that out soon. And here's a cold pressed matte. That's nice. Hot pressed. I wish you could feel this. And then papier aquarelle le rouge, which is interesting. And then the Britannia, which is the one from Hahnemuhle that you tend to see the most. They do sketchbooks called Britannia. Hasn't got anything to do with Britain, as far as I know. But anyway, so they sent me all of that to try out. So I thought we would begin with the bamboo just because I've used that one before. And my colour palette today is going to be quinacridone gold. This one is a Daniel Smith quinacridone gold, which I've popped in here. And burnt sienna, which is a brown colour, which is this one. This is a schminke. And Naples yellow, which is this one here. This is also schminke. And Potter's pink, which is, as it happens, another schminke. And then turquoise blue deep from Old Holland. And I mentioned the other day I use quite a lot of Old Holland paints. You can get them from Blix if you wish. So those are the colours I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be also using probably a white pen. This one here from Uniball Signo, white gel pen, and probably these Pigma Micron pens, or you could use the Tombow Fudeno Suke pen, or something like that. So we'll just pop those away out of the way for a minute, and we'll get started. This is going to be a simple little painting. You probably will want a smallish kind of brush. This is a number 3 round and a number 7 round. These ones are from Drawwell, which is most definitely my favourite source of brushes in Japan. A few people have ordered them direct from Japan following my lead, and have been very happy with them. So if you want information about that, check out the description below. Now, all we're going to do here, I'm going to paint on this side, obviously, because you can't paint on that side. Excuse me for the dry throat. It is still very dry and hot here, unbelievably. What's going on? So I'm just drawing a square very roughly. I'm holding the pencil near the end like that, and it's a square, but it's got wonky sides, and that's what I wanted. So then I'm going to sort of roughly eyeball a position about a third of the way down and draw a line for my horizon, and that's all I'm going to do, a token gesture towards perspective. So that's the horizon. So this is a whimsical semi-abstract, you could say. And now I'm drawing houses, just like children do, and it's very satisfying because you really can't go wrong. So think of yourself as a first grade kiddie wink, just having fun and not worrying at all about what comes out of it. The second house is going to be taller, with a chimney, and it's going to be very high like that. Put some windows in. I'm doing this in pencil, but I'll go over it in pen, but I'm just doing it in pencil to show you what I'm doing. The door is down here. And then another one, we make a lower one here, wider. So we have a variety of shapes and sizes. Okay, and then next to them, we're going to have a tree. So just a tree trunk like that, and then an oval, just a sort of shape like I don't know what that's like, just anything. And then perhaps on the end we might have one that's round. And it's not the shape of it that really matters, there's no details needed. And now we've got this lovely clear space in the bottom there that we're going to paint into. So we'll take our slightly larger brush, and I know everybody is always wanting to paint loose and to develop their skills with wet in wet. So this is a way to practice your wet in wet. Just wet the paper with a little bit of water over the whole thing. Don't leave any gaps if you can avoid it, and go right up to the pencil line if you want. And then the way I did this was I just picked up a little bit of reasonably intense Naples yellow. You're going to get some practice using these colours. This is an opaque colour, the Naples yellow. And then next to it, I'm going to just drop in and allow it to blend a bit of any of the others, right? It doesn't matter which colour you put next, just anything. And then here, this is the quinacridone gold, which spreads amazingly well. You'll notice, as you do this, you'll notice that the different paints behave differently. They do. And when we put the turquoise in to the yellow, we're going to get a nice little touch of green. And you can observe what happens when the turquoise goes into the pink. And you can see how the pink is granulating there. You see all this granulation? Where the pigment particles have sunk into the paper. And then, so we put a bit more water on the paper because it's drying out a bit. And turquoise in the quinacridone gold gives a very nice green. You can make this as bright or as pale as you want, obviously. It's your painting. I'll put some pink in down the front here, just because, why not? No reason. Okay, and then we just let that kind of do its own thing. I think I might just put a little, what shall I put in the middle there? A bit more pink, I think. And this is going to be a background for some flowers and leaves and bits and pieces, birds, stuff like that. Okie dokie. So we'll let that dry, and while that's drying, we'll just pick up our smaller brush, and then we're going to paint the houses. And I'm going to keep the colours a bit cleaner on the houses. So I'm just picking up some turquoise blue and painting that unmixed into that house. And that gives you a contrast, because here you've got all of these mixtures going on in the wet in wet, and now we're painting wet on dry, or as you know, you can call it wet on dry if you want, but basically you're just painting on paper. It's nothing special. So it doesn't matter if you go over the windows, because we're going to ink them in anyway. So that won't show. So that's a nice pink one. And then you could mix a green if you wanted to. You could put turquoise with quinacridone and have a nice greenhouse there. Not a greenhouse, I don't mean a greenhouse, I mean a greenhouse. Or you can just pick up some burnt sienna, which is one of my favourite colours actually. Burnt sienna makes such nice blends with things. And then we need to do the tree, so I'm just loosely going to mix some quinacridone gold in with the turquoise to give us a nice loose green, and literally just indicate the shape. There's absolutely no need to fuss about that, and we'll pop in a sort of brown trunk that we've mixed up by mixing. Mix up a brown by mixing almost anything with almost anything else, to be honest. So that's that. And then we'll probably use that colour or something similar for the roofs. And you don't want to what's the word? You don't want to be too precise about this. So we just paint in the doors with some colour, but we'll come back with ink for the windows, I think. Just pop the chimneys in. There we are. See how that's much paler now? It's faded down quite a lot, giving us a lovely background for what we're going to put on top. And now I'm going to take my number 0.1 what do you call it? Fine liner or whatever. And I'm just going to go around the trees first, just really loosely, giving them a bit more space to breathe. And the technique I tend to use for this is to hold the pen as upright as I can manage without losing all control, and then allowing a certain amount of movement. That is to say, what's the word? Wobbly lines, let's say. But, you know, you can still tell what it is, can't you? There's some shutters here. Big window in the middle. The other one down there. Make the door. Chimney pot, top of the chimney stack. There we are. And over we just draw the ground in along here. And we can put some branches into the trees, again in a stylized, or you might say graphic way. And if you want to, you could come in with, for example, if you have any of these, what do you call them, Inktense pencils, if you want to, you can just add some colour like that to your trees to give them a bit more texture. It's all about texture. And you could use those for the details like the shutters and things like that on your house if you want. It's just a little bit easier to control. And you can get these nice sort of highlights and things if you want. But that's obviously completely optional. But you'd be surprised how these little details, just tiny little strokes, make a difference. It can sometimes be a good difference, and sometimes not so good. But okay, so now we are looking at the foreground. And I'm going to now start to draw into it because I think it's dry enough with this small pen. And you can do whatever you like, obviously. And one way to start is just to start with some leaves and a flower. Keep it really loose. And in the last one I did, which was this one, I put a fence there and had a little bird standing on it. But the way the colours worked here, I was sort of thinking, this one had a kind of line there, so it sort of wanted a fence, but this one doesn't. So I'm going to come in with things like flowers and hearts and stuff like that. And leaves. My leaf making machine isn't working today. Something like an oak leaf. And let's put a bird up here. Just draw an irregular circle, then pop in a beak, give him a tail of sorts. This one starts to look a bit like a chicken. So we give him a, what do you call it, and a thingamajig. There we are, so that's a rooster. And then maybe we'll have a nice flower over here. And then perhaps we'll just draw some circles and some spirals here to look like rocks or something like that. So the features of the landscape, you know, we're just flattening them. So there's one bird, and we'll put another bird over here, just a rough circle. Little beak, an eye, a tail, however you feel you want to do the tail, and the wing. If he could be standing on something if you want. Put them on the ground, and some things around him. Okay, I think that's enough of the pen for the minute, and I'm going to now go back to my paint and put some colour in. I'll do this bird in blue, and this nice little heart, we'll do that in blue too. And let's make these leaves sort of green. blue leaves here, and another blue heart. And maybe some pink. It's not really pink, is it? It's more of a brown. I think we'll do this bird blue too, with a green tail. And nice orange flower here. Oh, maybe I'll do these ones the same. Go well beyond the lines. Green leaves on these. And I keep forgetting this tulip here. Okie dokie. So then we've got our white pen, and we can do some more spirals. And just some boxes or something like that. Just make it up as you go along. And as you go along, you will want to change things, probably. You can put white in the middle of your leaves to give a different sort of effect if you think it's gone too dark. And then I'm going to go back to my pen. I think we need another bird here, don't we? It's best not to think too long about these things. Just go ahead and do it. And let's have another little branch of leaves over here. And I want a sort of spiky flower like like buddleia. And now in the little boxes that I've drawn, I want to write things like home is where the heart is. And down here we'll have keep the home fires burning. And here home on the range. I just tried to think of all the sayings I could think of that had home in them. Home, homeward bound. And start here, wherever I lay my hat, that's my home. And then no place like home. And there we are. I just want to colour in these leaves. And we put a few more hearts in. And something like this would make a nice card for someone who was setting up home, wouldn't it? Okay, pink with a bit of turquoise for these berries here. If you keep to the same colours throughout and you just use a very restricted palette, it doesn't really matter what those colours are, but 4 or 5 colours and you'll be able to make the painting look unified. Even when it sort of goes a bit wrong, like it did here, you can, it still looks right, colour-wise anyway. I haven't done that bird, have I? I think he probably needs to be turquoise like the other ones. And when you put the turquoise on top of the yellow that's underneath, of course, you get much more of a green. Give him... Something you'll notice, actually, this happens to me quite a lot. When you use a small brush, often you'll find that it'll drop too much water on your paper. To take care about that. And so I've got homeward bound, no place like home. Home is where the heart is. That heart needs to be pink. Keep the home fires burning. Did I put that one in? I don't think I did. Keep the... Oh, yes, I did. Keep the home fires burning. We've got that one twice now. Never mind. Okay. So there we are. That's a little fun thing to do. You could put some clouds in the sky if you want to as well, actually. I didn't do that on the first one that I did, but you could take some little turquoise, not purple, turquoise clouds and just pop a few in like that. And that sort of makes it complete. And then the only other thing that you could do, and it's a bit risky, but you could come in with your gold paint. If you've got this Kuretake Starry Colours set, and you can mix it up a bit to get it started. It's been sitting there a few days. And then I'm going to try it out on this other one here. The paper is fine. Yes, that looks okay, so we will go ahead and do it on here, I think. Yeah, the paper's good, the bamboo. I can recommend that. Doesn't have to be dead straight, does it? So, there we are, all done. Nice card for someone. Have fun, enjoy that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you again soon. Bye everybody. Bye-bye.